Hey everyone, are you an aspiring musician and you want your music on CD or vinyl? Then stay tuned. I will tell you how to do it without any upfront cost. Check out this video where I will lead you step by step through the process. Alright, you are a musician and you would like to see your music on a professionally looking CD or a vinyl long player, very trendy. Maybe you want to be able to give back to your fans and allow them not only to stream the music, but also hold them and at the same time support you by purchasing the music. Or you want to have merchandising in high quality at your concerts or live events or when you're busking. What do you do? There are basically three ways of doing it. The old way had been to go to a CD burning or vinyl pressing service where you deliver your masters and you receive back a few weeks later 50 or 100 copies typically, which you pay upfront. You own them then, and then it's your task to sell them to your fan base or to passers-by when you are busking on the street. So that's the old way. The problem, you need to pay some money up front and you don't have any guarantee that those 50 or 100 copies will ever be sold. Many musicians that have gone that way usually tell you, well, I still have boxes of my long player or of my CD in my basement. Do you want one? Shows you it's maybe difficult for an unrecognized artist, for an aspiring artist, for an unknown artist, just like myself, the unsuccessful artist, to make things work commercially. Then there is a second way, the old route, and this is the route I took when I produced my own CD, an extended play, an EP. I made a YouTube tutorial, which I will link in the show notes. This moves you step by step through burning your own CD, labeling it with nice looking printed labels, with a self-made cover. And in the end, you maybe not have the high-end product, but you have a charming do-it-yourself product which looks good and sounds good, especially in the CD. Problem is, well, if you want to go vinyl, this doesn't work. Yeah, because you can't press vinyl at home yet. Maybe someone will invent this. Hey, Kickstarter, maybe that's an idea. But with CDs, it works quite well. And the other problem you have with this do-it-yourself approach, the online side of the do-it-yourself approach, you also have to do it yourself. So you have to create a store either on WordPress or on Squarespace or Shopify or wherever you might already sell some of your merchandise all by yourself. Is there a third way? And yes, there is. Recently, a new service called ElasticStage.com has opened its gates, and it promises a different model. And if you have some know-how of the literary world of making books and producing books yourself, there you have it already for quite a long time, where you have these sort of on-demand services where you have no upfront costs whatsoever. And you are able to upload your manuscript, upload your cover art, and whenever someone online clicks on, I want to order Ames's book, Amazon or print on demand or whatever those services are called, they print your book and send it out, and you will receive a small royalty. So this concept of no upfront, professionally online selling and producing is now done by Elastic Stage. And I wanted to find out, does that service deliver on its promise? And I will lead you step by step through the production of one of my EPs. It's a live EP called Winterbühnen, Winter Stages, of my first winter as a singer-songwriter with new material. And yeah, let's see how that works. And in the end, I will, of course, do a summary. Okay, let's take that ride. CDs. This is a more aesthetical decision. You might get by without one, then you just have a blank one. Before we start the process of creating our own CD on demand with elasticstage.com, some disclaimers. This is sort of advertising. I mean, I'm testing the service, and I'm naming the service because right now, from my research, it's quite unique. And as a musician who wants to rely on this sort of service, and I relied on this kind of service with Amazon Kindle Direct Processing for a long time for my published books, I want them to succeed because it's, I think, a good model. But and I will talk about the drawbacks a bit later. I want to make clear this video is not sponsored by Elastic Stage in any form or kind. They don't even know that I'm doing this. And I'm pretty curious how your own experiences with the services are. The second disclaimer is, in order to run through this process, you need to own the rights to whatever you're publishing there with Elastic Stage. So it must be your music. Make sure that it's all taken care of, that you have the full rights, that you have all the agreements, ideally in writing, from all the authors of the music, and if necessary, from all the artists that are on the music. If you are, like me, a bedroom producer who does everything himself, then you're pretty sure that you have all the rights. But music is at one side. Your music also has, your CD or your vinyl also has a cover art. Make sure all that you are able to use that cover art in this setting of publishing your own music. There are online portals like Pixabay, for example, that allow you to use photographic art or clip art or graphics without accrediting the author. Of course, it would be nice if you do that, and I usually do that in sort of the liner notes. You are also free to use it in your setting in a non-attribution form. Summary, whatever you're publishing, make sure you have the rights. It's not worth it getting into sort of copyright trouble over this trivial thing of having your own music. And there are always easy ways to create your own artwork yourself. If you create your own photo, if you're using your own background graphics and so on. So you should be able to do this, even though publishing and the production side of the CD or the LP, the vinyl with Elastic Stage, they take care of that. There are still some hoops you have to jump through in order to deliver the source material. So let's start with elasticstage.com, the service that promises to deliver CDs and or vinyl in good quality without any upfront costs. This is what it looks like. You need to make sure that you are set to the region. I already created an account, which is straightforward. Then there's on the splash page some explainers, how it works, the promise to sell your records worldwide, that you need no upfront budget, and that it's then directly to your fans, or you're able to buy yourself a bulk number of CDs or long players. And then, yeah, it's coming your way. There's even this sort of royalties calculator. Let's be honest, it's probably not our aim to make a lot of profit from this service. Then we would maybe use a different service to optimize our. But it gives you an idea what's coming across. There are two main pages for Elastic Stage. One is to build your release, and the other is the actual store. But let's have a look at the build my release first. You can see I already have two releases up, one live and one it's called ready to lock. So I prepared already the vinyl version for it, and the CD album version is already live since February. That's the release page. And then there's also the shopping page, and the setup there is also straightforward. So I have one shop, which gives me one shop URL /aims, so elasticstage.com/aims. Here you can see it. There you have your artist page, some description, some header imaging, which is, in my case, built after my first release. I might exchange that with a bit more commercial one that shows me in some sort of pose. Okay, let's create a release. So there's a big button. We just press it, and then you are able to select from the various formats that are available. 12-inch vinyl, album side, single side, the CD versions. Pretty straightforward. In our case, we create an EP. It's called Winterbühnen, Winter Stages, which is a live album that I prepared a while ago, a few years ago, which exists on streaming, but not in physical format. We want to change that, so we create that release. Before I show you the process on the Elastic Stage side, you will need to prepare some digital stuff in order to feed the beast. And of course, you need to prepare your music. If you have already gone the DIY route that I showed in my tutorial, or if you have published music with DistroKid, CD Baby, or TuneUp, then you already have most likely the files, the music files in the specific format, which is usually the WAV format on 24-bit export from your DAW or from your mastering service. So you most likely have this. So if you have 10 songs you want to put on there, you need 10 files of music that you will then upload to the service. When it comes to CD and most likely to vinyl, you can reuse whatever you used for the DistroKid publishing streaming service or for your own CD production. So if you are, from a loudness perspective, on a -14 to -10 dB LUFS integrated, you are fine. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, there are tutorial videos that show you how to prepare your music after the mix in order to make it publishing ready, the mastering process. So mastering for beginners, Logic Pro, or mastering for beginners, Pro Tools, whatever you're using as a DAW to record your music, will show you on YouTube lots of videos. Then you need to prepare your artwork. If you did this already for a distribution through DistroKid, through this to the streaming services, you're already 1/3 set, because usually you have a square front cover that you prepared for the service. You can use that also for Elastic Stage. What you also need is a backside of the cover. If you ever went the DIY route before for your CD, you might have this as well. You might need to adjust it because Elastic Stage adds some distribution data on the lower right side of the cover, which shows the barcode very small, but you need to make sure that it doesn't overlap with any important graphic elements on your backside of the cover. And then depending on what sort of cover you want to order for your CD or for your long player on vinyl, you need to have some inner sleeve cover, you need to have some label for either the long player, the single, or the CD. And you need maybe to have content for the booklet. And Elastic Stage gives you various options there. My example that I will go through shows this simple version, which is basically the artwork. You need a front side, you need a back side, you need to have an inner sleeve, and you have a label. In my case, in the example I show you, it's a CD label, and then you should be set. Like I said, so maybe you need to put some more work into it if you want to have a luxury booklet available as well with your lyrics or production liner notes and so on, then, or some real artwork that you think is fitting to accompany your music, then you need to put a little bit more work into it. But basically, that's it. Music is there and the artwork is there, also in a digital form. Here is my prepared input data, the various cover and artwork. So here we have the songs, it's a 4-track extended play, and you have the various artwork. You can see the wave, the format is 44.1 kilohertz sampling and 24 bits. If you do 32 bits, be aware it doesn't accept it. It needs 16 or 24 bits. But yeah, you will figure that out. And then you have the various cover art. So you have the front cover. So I just took the one from my DistroKid distribution. There's the back side where I show the 4 songs, the titles of the 4 songs, and some background information. Yeah, that it's been created between 22 and 23. And then you have the mid cover. And you see this is the sort of spread if you open up the fold, which with some liner notes where I explain a bit the background stories to each of the songs, just to make it a bit more interesting for my audience. And then you have the CD label. You don't see the rounding of the CD, but yeah, imagine that it's there, but it fits on a round CD label with a hole in the middle. We'll see that in a second. We have created the basic structure, and we now come to the metadata input. And as you can see, it shows you the status you are in and the 4 different steps you need to take in order. And yeah, you need to enter, of course, a primary artist. You need to add some maybe original release data if it's a re-release. I decide now, because it's only 4 songs, to use the lowest price available, which is £10.40. You can set a release date if you want to do some advertising. You probably know this stuff from this DistroKid or the likes. And then there's also the possibility to pre-order. And also you can say, do you want the people to hear the music before the release date or not? Up to you whether you want to spoil the surprise or not. You need to enter the right holders. In my case, that's easy. It's all me. And what year it is, and have some remark on your edition, your release actually. So in my case, it's limited edition of 100. Good. Metadata is saved. Green check mark, 25% done. Now for the tracks. So let's upload what we have. You need to switch first into the edit mode, and then you drag and drop your songs, your WAV files over there. It needs a little time to process. And as you can see, it now starts one song after another. All right, all 4 tracks are there. And it gives you also some of the statistics and also the loudness. So it should be quite comparable. So mine, because it's an acoustic album, is around -16 or between 16 and 14. Not too loud, not too quiet. But now there's some information missing, it tells us, and now we need to get into each of those files and make them nice from a metadata perspective. So we need to adjust the title because it took the file name, And then we need to identify who's the songwriter. So in my case, I'm using the name to make it really clear that I'm using for the GEMA, so the publishing, not the publishing, but the royalty collection service of my country, in order to make sure that if it is played somewhere on the radio or wherever, it finds the right author, because I'm registered with my own name there, with my regular name and not my artist name. So, and then, yeah, you need to do this for all the various songs. Let's speed it up a bit. Unfortunately, unlike DistroKid, where it's very nice, you have no possibility to simply copy and paste it with one button into all the other tracks. You need to do this track by track until you're done. It shows us the total running time of this and the number of tracks. So basically, we are done. All right, next in line is the artwork, our step 3. There are 2 ways to do this, the designer upload and the quick and easy. I recommend, like they do, to use the quick and easy one, because that's the most straightforward. You basically prepare everything, just upload it, are able to run then the process very easy way, and it gives you a very nice preview, which we go to in a second. There are some instructions on how the stuff look like, the artwork should look like. You can also download some templates if you know how to work with those in your Photoshop or Affinity Designer or Affinity Photo or Pixelmator, whatever you're using. In my case, it's pretty easy because I have this prepared from DistroKid. So we're uploading the first piece of the artwork. If anything would be wrong here, it will tell us if it's not exactly square, if it's the wrong color range, and so on. So you just drag and drop the, in my case, JPEG files, and it processes the stuff. Maybe we'll run into an error, and then I can demonstrate you how good everything looks. The inner sleeve, you can either upload 2 square graphics or 1 rectangular graphics in the 2:1 aspect ratio. I have the 2:1 aspect ratio I showed you before. It's uploading, it's processing. Take a look at the artwork. Just one more thing. Uploading. Validation run through, and it again creates gave it a bit more space on all sides. It's very nice, huh? Opening it up. Oh, nice. We see the liner notes. Oh, and fantastic label. Oh, look how it looks. And there's the spine, Winterbühnen, all correct. Oh, and there you see in the lower end side, the code. Oh, this is very nice, and I'm very happy with the result. So we are good now from a release perspective, and now it asks us to lock the release, which then really locks all those settings. And if I would now do any big changes like new tracks, special tracks, changing the artwork because I want to have a sticker on it saying, hey, the new one, the new Ames record, then I would need to create a new release, which is a different process. So I could order now a test CD to see how it looks in physical page, but next we would need to build a page. I already have one, so we don't need to go through that stage, but yeah, we now create the release group, which is sort of a combination for the various data. So it's supposed to be in my Ames online shop. Of course, we set it to public, and now we need to put in some genres, which in this case it's a bit folky, and then it's singer-songwriter. We don't have singer-songwriter. It's not Schlager either, at least not this music I'm doing. And now you have the option to now clone it to vinyl in one click. I'm not sure that it makes sense for 4 songs, but of course you could do it. You just press the button and it copies over the artwork as it where it can, and the digital material, the song material. And it's done, able to pre-order from June 26. We just need to put in some more work to finalize the vinyl. We won't do this here. Okay, let's have a look at the shop, what it looks like from a fan perspective. The setup of the shop, we already ran through that, is pretty straightforward. Some information, some graphics. The header image I probably will change if I have more than one release out there. And this is what then the shop looks like for the end user, with the graphics and what I have published before. Remember, our new record is not out yet. That's why it's not shown in the shop. But if the fan would order my current one, this is what it would look like. The nice animation. The fan sees immediately what he or she gets. You have the track list, you have previews for the songs as in any regular digital shop. You add it to basket, you have the price, and then of course the shipping comes on top of it. And as you can see, I have an account, and the system knows I'm in Germany, so it's showing the euro price, and it shows an estimated delivery date. All right, so this is what things look like on the Elastic Stage side when it comes to selling your new product. And of course, it doesn't stop there. What you, of course, should do, you must propagate the shop link to your other online presences. So in my case, I have connected the shop to my Linktree. If you're looking at Linktree there, you have the opportunity, even in the free version, to have the link section where you have your tour dates and maybe links to your video, and the shop link. And there I put in the shop link to my digital presences, like selling my digital products, selling my music, and selling my books. Basically the links to 3 shops. And of course you should then add that link to other opportunities. I think that's important. Otherwise, why set up the shop if no one can find it? Now, from the artist perspective, so you as an artist want to purchase records in bulk for your own use to sell it on the street. So you go into the bulk copying, you have the opportunity to buy just one test copy or in bulk. And as you can see, the units is 50 per bulk. And there's a limit. You can just buy it 2 quantities in this checkout. And as you can see, it adds the shipping. So you have to add the shipping country. In my case, it's Germany. We proceed to check out the freight costs, and there you can see it. So it's 375 plus 10 euro shipping, which brings it to 384, which brings it to around 7 euro. So this was the process from A to Z. Let's just wait until we receive the package for our test ordering. Then we will find out whether the service delivered as promised. Let's find out what we received today in the mail. This is the box. I just ordered 2 copies. Just to find out what it looks like for you guys if one of you would order it. Yeah, regular packing. And this is of course not the one we set up because it only comes out in July, but this is the one from my first EP. It's shrink wrapped. Front side and back side, they look easy. There you can see the barcode on the lower end. There it is, front side. The colors look fine. I'm not the best of a graphic designer. Could have done maybe a little bit better with popping out the colors. Inside looks fine. All right, time for a little summary and checking out the pros and the cons as I perceive them. First off, which is probably the biggest pro you can give to such a service, it works as advertised. There were no snafus, there were no snags, there were no hidden clauses, whatever. No, everything worked absolutely fine from what I experienced. It's a professional outfit, the quality is fine. The payment processing seems to be done through Stripe, which is also a very renowned service, similar to PayPal. The logistics works just as fine. Here in Europe, they appear to produce in the UK, which is not EU, so there could be some hassles. Not in my case. So shipping from the UK through Royal Mail and then DHL went absolutely fine, and the package arrived after the production finished within, I think it was 3 days, 3 working days, and I had the parcel at my door. That worked absolutely fine. The cons, there are not many. One is the time of production appeared to be a little long. So the 3 days I mentioned is just for the shipping, which is outside of Elastic Stage realm, of course. But I felt that the production, which in my case was a little over 3 weeks, I think, appeared to be quite long. I have experiences with the KDP, the Kindle Direct Publishing, when it comes to books. I wrote a lot of books a while ago and published most of them through KDP. And there it was from ordering the book, which was then printed on demand, until I had it at my door was 1 week as the complete process. And even if I purchase small bulk, like 10 or 20 units of a certain book, it also was never more than 1 week of complete turnaround. There, yeah, I feel 3 weeks, and then with the shipping, almost 4 weeks is too long. To be honest, I forgot that I ordered my test copies. That shows you when I received the hey, production is ready and shipping goes out now email. I thought, oh why? Yeah, I ordered that a while ago. It already fell off my mind because there wasn't also any status update. So if something could be improved, then it's maybe this sort of, hey, we received your order, and then maybe a few days later, hey, you are now put into the queue for the production, and then maybe 2 weeks later, hey, we now go into production and it just should take a day, and then blah, blah, blah. So to give a bit more visibility into because it's a lengthy process. That's the only nagging on a high level. The second is, which is not really a con, which is a fact of life. As an artist who creates its own musical material like CDs or vinyl pressings, you really have to understand the economics you are in. And you really need to be very realistic from the expectations you have towards the service, and more importantly, how many units will you eventually over a longer period of time sell from your music. Because if you're using Elastic Stage, let's face it, you don't get rich. I mean, it's more a service of convenience that allows your fans to access your CDs or vinyl, or yourself to easily set up some merchandise, quick and easy, be able to sell it at a certain price point. But the price point is quite high. So like for the CD that I produced, the sales price is somewhere around, like in our example, between I think it was 10 euros or 11 euros and 14 euros or 15 euros, depending on the size of my cut on the things. Which, if you want then to resell it at an event, you need to make quite a high price for the fan. Like, I mean, if you're doing 15 euros, then even if you don't take VAT into consideration, it adds up, and your margin is very slim. The price is very high. If you are purchasing the bulk, then it gets a little easier, but not much. Then you have $8 or 8 to 9 euros per unit that you as the artist pay for it, and then you can sell it for 15 to 20 euro maybe. That's easier. All examples are the CD examples, but yeah. Be aware of the economics. If you are planning, or if you know that you will sell more from experience, then do another service, right? Then you purchase 100 or 200 or 1,000 units from a regular pressing service and not an on-demand service, because there the economics will be better. Or if you are really not selling that much as merch, but still want to have merch, and still want to make some money off it, like when you are busking, then refer to my tutorial on how to do it yourself completely. Burn your own CDs, print your own cover, print your own label and your set as well, at a much lower unit price. There the unit price is below 2 euros. If you already have a CD burner, and even if you don't, it doesn't cost much. It costs you 20 euros. I have the economics in the tutorials as well. So that's one thing you really have to consider as you go along with the service. But like I said, it works, and it works fine, and it delivers what it promises. And what more can you ask for as an unsuccessful musician at this point? So this is it. If you like this sort of tutorial, then please subscribe or follow me on Instagram. Or if you are in the Munich area, feel free to come by to one of my concerts. I would really like to get in touch with you and exchange ideas and opinions. With that, I leave you to it. Try it out and hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.